This is way better than we thought. As we all know, Ross Atkins has signed Anthony Santander. Fans were happy with the contract, but a brand new report has dropped revealing some details surrounding this contract that has Jays fans absolutely fired up. We're going to break down that and discuss what this means going forward as the Jays prepare to make more moves. We're going to break that down as well as discuss some new updates surrounding some moves the Jays have made in international free agency, as well as some updates regarding free agency in general. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, if you're part of the percentage mark, subscribe to the channel. It's the place to be for daily Jays content, continuing to pump out content for you guys. So if you want to support me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You can see Toronto behind me. We're now in a hotel, so we're moving from place to place. But if you're enjoying the daily content, still producing multiple videos a day for you all, make sure to smash that subscribe button. But a lot to go over now. Obviously, we know that the Toronto Blue Jays are in talks with Pete Alonso, with a bunch of different players. We're going to keep you up to date with that. We're taking a step back now, as caught up in yesterday's crazy spill of news from Pete Alonso to Max Scherzer. There was some info that dropped surrounding Anthony Santander's contract that is not only extremely interesting, but we finally got the full contract details revealed here. So there's a bunch of screenshots to go over, so bear with me. But we're going to start with Ken Rosenthal. So his deal is a 5-year, $92.5 million deal. Now, we knew that much, but we now know the exact amount that was deferred. So $61.75 million is deferred according to a copy of the deal viewed by The Athletic. Present day overall value by Union's calculation is $68.6 million with a $13.7 million AAV. Now, there's some other things, and we'll dive into the opt-out stuff in a minute. Just on the surface level, again, $61.75 million deferred is incredible value for the Toronto Blue Jays, because coming into this contract, whether you looked at Spot Track, whether you looked at whatever you want to look at regarding contract projections, there were reports that he wanted 5 years, $100 million guaranteed, which would have been a $20 million guarantee average. We heard that 4 years, $82 million was about where the Jays were at for a while. They ended up getting away with, their 4-year deal. Technically, their 5-year deal, at $92.5 million, which on the surface level, if no money was deferred, would have been a fine, average deal. But now that much is deferred, the AAV gets brought all the way down to $13.7 million for sake of CBT. And as fans, that's really all that matters right now for the Jays, is their CBT to stay below the thresholds, blow past the thresholds. And it also includes an opt-out after the 3rd year. If he opts out, the Jays can void it by increasing salary by $2.5 million in each of the final 2 years and exercising the option for 2030 at $17.5 million. But the fact that this amount is deferred is great work by Ross Atkins for a few reasons. One, you're getting him at essentially $13.7 million a year, which is way under what we all thought he was going to get. And as it counts for the CBT, that's all that matters now, is that amount. So the deferred money we're pulling at Dodgers here allows the Jays, that is, to spend a lot more. And that's why we're hearing them in on a lot of the top tier free agents that are remaining. And we know the deal itself was great, but it just keeps getting better with each passing minute, it feels like. And a few things to go over, and you see here some details in the contract. Again, 5 years, $92 with a ton deferred, but it's essentially a 5-year, $68.3 million deal if you want to go ahead and do, past the deferments and things. This is such an insane deal for Ross. Absolutely cooked here, and Tony was committed clearly to being a J. And that's one thing I want to touch on before we get into some more of the details. Anthony Santander is clearly committed to being a Toronto Blue Jay, because you'd assume had similar offers elsewhere at least. Like, there was, when this dropped, you're seeing other fan bases say, why didn't my team match this? Why didn't my team match this? Because ultimately, if you're deferring that much money, the actual value of the contract is not that crazy. Like, you'd assume that even the Dodgers, the masters of, deferred money, could match that deal. But it isn't the case. He wanted to be a Toronto Blue Jay. He showed that, and he accepted a deal that not only helps the Toronto Blue Jays right now, it helps them in the future as well, in the sense of they're able now to commit more. And clearly, Anthony Santander is coming from a winner in the past couple of years with the Baltimore Orioles, at least a regular season winner. They've struggled in the playoffs. So he wants to win games, especially, again, he's 30 years old. And this helps them win these games, because they're now going to be able to go out and get some more players, get some more deals done, and do things like that, which is the big, obviously, important factor in all these contracts, is how much this is going to handicap them. That's what Jays fans were worried about with Miles Straw's deal, and now that's what we're worried about with Anthony Santander until this came to fruition. You have other, fans, BK, saying deal rocks. It absolutely rocks, and the club option for 2030 is $15 million or a $5 million buyout, which is deferred again. Santander can opt out of the deal after 2027, but the Jays can negate that. So if Santander is crushing it and he at 2027 wants to test free agency again, the Jays can say, no, we're going to exercise your option, give you a little bit of a raise, pay some more money that's deferred, and then go ahead and keep you for the next couple of seasons, which can increase it to, I believe, a 6-year contract. So it is just an absolute masterclass from Ross Atkins. And in what has been a crazy few days for rumors surrounding Pete Alonso, rumors surrounding all these guys, to take a step back and just look at how good their actual contract was with these brand new details that got released, you have to applaud Ross Atkins. Whether you like him or not, I'm going to, again, you don't have to, support the moves he makes. I mean, some people are probably still going to find a way to, not like and complain about this Anthony Santander move. But when it comes from a financial, fiscal perspective, it is about as good as you could get. Now, when you're looking at a signing bonus, you have a signing bonus of 13.5. When you look at the actual contract, you can see how it breaks down. 13.5 million in 2025 with 10 million deferred, 16.5 in 2026 with 10 million deferred, and then it goes down all the way to 2029. So they really took advantage, and it's nice to see another team besides the LA Dodgers take advantage of deferred money, because it's probably going to get fixed in the next CBT, because it's a funky way to go about doing business. But when you're talking about staying under the CBT threshold, or the CBA, sorry, it's going to be negotiated in the next CBA, but in this, for the CBT, it is, being able to stay below the salary is incredible. And as you look at Anthony Santander, if he can even replicate a similar season to last year, now it doesn't have to be 44 home runs, maybe he increases and the Jays find something that increases his on-base percentage similar to what it was before. And, you could bet on maybe the Jays finding something that helps him be a better player, especially when it comes to getting on base. He hits 44 home runs. You go out there and you hit 30 home runs. You hit 35 home runs. Anything above 30, but even 25 would help this team because of the lack of power. You're going to go out and you're going to have a much better lineup in between Vladdy and Bichette. And that is ultimately why they did it. But to see these new details be released, just everybody is fired up about it. You absolutely love to see it. And the amount of deferred money, I'm all for this. We got burned with it with the Shohei Ohtani contract, even though reports were that the Toronto Blue Jays were also willing to do the Shohei Ohtani contract with that deferred money. At this point, screw the deferred money, keep going at it, keep offering these deferred contracts until it's fixed. And in the meantime, the Jays can hopefully capitalize on this deferred money, on this being a cheap deal when it comes to current present value, to go out and get a guy like Pete Alonso, go out and get a guy like Max Scherzer, go out and get anybody. Obviously, they missed out on Jurickson Profar, but I think this will definitely help them. But some other thing to note here before we wrap up is the Blue Jays announced they've signed Keegan to a deal. And I want to obviously highlight this. This is, I think it's Pierre Ternella, Keegan Pierre Ternella out of the Netherlands. So just in case you guys were wondering, this is what they did with the rest of their international pool money. There was a few guys that are interesting in here. I covered a couple of them, but this is the list of the players. And obviously, they made the Miles Straw trade. They made that deal, and they've spent it. But it's going to be interesting to see now, at least the fact, we have solace in knowing that despite not getting Roki Sasaki, it didn't help. It didn't, delay them or stop them from getting any of these other moves. Now, whether or not it delays or stops them from actually signing these guys is still up in the air, but we know they're deep in talks with a lot of these guys, at least in the rumor mill. Now, whether or not leverage is still being played is up in the air, but these are the list of international players. If you guys keep an eye out on, we're going to keep you up to date with them. Probably have some videos on these guys as the season starts to approach, as spring training starts to approach, So that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. And one other note, Anthony Santander has an MLB high 51 game-tying RBI since the start of 2020, so we got a clutch outfielder in Santander. But that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to smash that subscribe button. We'll see you guys later. Cheers.